Jack was a loving son, a brother.
All four men died here at Stephen Port's East London flat.
There's a young boy, looks like he's collapsed outside. He looks like he's collapsed or had a seizure or something. He's just always just drunk.
Did you see anything happen at all?
No.
He just took the bodies there and left them there as if they were a piece of garbage.
Are you telling us the truth, Stephen?
I'm telling you the truth, yes.
London, a city that never sleeps, a place of lights, life, and secrets. But hidden beneath its vibrant nightlife was a predator, waiting, watching, hunting. This is the story of one of Britain's most disturbing modern serial killers, Stephen John Port. At first glance, Stephen Port didn't look like a monster. Born in 1975, he lived an unremarkable life in Barking, East London. He worked as a chef, kept mostly to himself, and blended into society without raising suspicion. But behind closed doors, Port was living a double life. One driven by obsession, control, and something far darker. Port used dating apps, particularly Grindr, to meet young men, but what seemed like casual encounters would become deadly. In June 2014, 23-year-old Anthony Walgate was found dead outside Stephen Port's flat. At first, it didn't look like murder. Port called the police himself, claiming Anthony had overdosed. He even sent fake messages from Anthony's phone to stage the scene. And incredibly, police believed him. The death was ruled as a drug overdose, but it wasn't. 2 months later, another body appeared. Gabriel Kovari, a 22-year-old Slovakian man. He had also met Port online. He had also ended up dead. His body was discovered in a churchyard near Port's home. Again, no alarm bells were truly sounded. In September 2015, Daniel Whitworth was found in the same graveyard. This time, something chilling was discovered. A suicide note. But it wasn't written by Daniel. It was written by Port. An attempt to shift blame onto a fictional serial killer targeting young men. Even then, authorities failed to connect the dots.
It was clear to anybody that he should have been stopped at Anthony there, and nobody else needed to die there. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
Found similarly with drugs in their pocket that Port had planted there, and they weren't going to look outside that particular box. It's, you know, this is what gay people do. They go to parties, they go to chemsex parties. I mean, crikey, Daniel didn't have the time of day to give to that kind of lifestyle.
Just days later, Jack Taylor, aged 25, was found dead in the exact same location. 4 young men, all connected, all meeting the same man, all dying under eerily similar circumstances. And yet, it took far too long for anyone to realize the truth. Stephen Port wasn't just meeting these men, he was drugging them, using substances like GHB, a powerful sedative. He would render his victims unconscious. Then, he would sexually assault them. And in many cases, he let them die. He kept mementos, recorded his crimes, and continued again and again, undetected.
They were discriminated against from the very beginning, whether that had been, they were just seen as a druggie, homeless, gay. It's not acceptable.
It shouldn't have got this far. If they'd have listened to me and Anthony's friends in the very first place, none of these people would be sat here now.
These mistakes they've made cost lives.
Officers finally arrested Stephen Port after seeing this CCTV showing him walking his final victim, Jack Taylor, to his Barking flat.
I don't recognise his face.
He denied knowing Jack Taylor in this police interview. Stephen Port never told the truth about what he did.
Stephen Port was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order, meaning he will never walk free again. But the story doesn't end there. The case sparked outrage across the UK. Many questioned how police missed the connections, how 4 lives could be lost before action was taken.
He was fun, loving, caring, always laughing.
Christmas will never be the same without their murdered brother Jack, and Donna and Jenny are convinced he'd still be alive if the police had done their job properly. 3 other young men had already been found dead in the same part of East London, but officers failed to link the cases.
It just didn't add up. And when we put all the different bits to them, they just initially said that we were wrong and that wasn't the case. If they'd done what they were supposed to, lives would have definitely been saved. And obviously certain people wouldn't have been raped and gone through what they've gone through. So to us, they need to be held accountable. It's as simple as that.
It was homophobic. I really do think that. And they just refused to investigate anything. Didn't matter what you said to them, all we got all the time was nothing to investigate.
Families demanded justice, not just for their loved ones, but for the failures that allowed the killer to continue. They asked the questions that refused to go away. How were the warning signs missed? Why were the similarities between the deaths overlooked? And could these young men have been saved if someone had acted sooner? For the families, the pain wasn't only in the loss, it was in the knowledge that it might have been preventable. Voices grew louder, campaigns were launched, and pressure mounted on authorities to acknowledge what went wrong. Because justice isn't just about punishing the guilty, it's about learning from failure, so it never happens again. Stephen Port appeared ordinary, soft-spoken, quiet, unremarkable. The kind of person you might pass on the street and never think twice about. But behind that ordinary face was a calculated predator, patient, manipulative, a man who used trust as a weapon and vulnerability as an opportunity. His victims trusted him, let him into their lives, their homes, their final moments. And for that trust, they paid the ultimate price. This case is more than a story of crime. It's a warning, a reminder that evil doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't always look frightening or dangerous or obvious. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it waits. And sometimes the most dangerous monsters don't hide in the shadows. They live right next door. And sometimes they're already inside.